but I did download Hinge and just memed out my entire profile. There was this woman on the profile. We started messaging and I was like, let's meet up in person. So we meet up and I'm just straight up awkward. Like I'm making eye contact. She asks me questions. They're pretty basic questions that I don't feel like answering. So I just don't answer them. It's really awkward, but then it starts to feel deeper and more intimate. We're getting past, it's just a way of getting past a lot of like the superficial conversation. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's leave now. So I walk her back to her car and I'm putting my hand like on the handle of the car door. And
I'm glad you said handle of the car door.
As I'm putting my hand towards the door.
All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to None of Your Business. Why is it none of your business? Well, we're all entrepreneurs, community owners, business owners, or just hardworking people. We love what we do. We like the people we interact with. We've got so much going on in our business space. It's what we do. It's what we enjoy. And at the same time, we are human beings. We're more than just our business. We've got various passions, interests, opinions, views. And sometimes you just want somewhere where we can hang out and just have a chat about it, which is why we opened this cool bar. You saw Lexi's bike outside. You saw my guitar outside. This is exactly what we're about. It's just a space to see what unfolds as human beings, as connections, which is why we say, just leave your business at the door for a little while, come on in and let's just see what's going on. A quick couple of housekeeping points before we kick off. We are recording this. It will be uploaded then into my community, Worthwaker, and Lexi's community, Beautiful Contradictions. You know where to find us. I'm sure you're all savvy on school. And it will go on YouTube as well. So if anybody has something they want taken out of the recording before we upload it, do let us know. Happy to take that out. And beyond that, like we toyed with the idea of having a general topic to just make sure that this place doesn't descend into a bar brawl or chaos. I mean, it still might do, who knows. But we thought, okay, let's just give some topic to give an idea of what we'll come together on, right? And the first topic we thought of was relationships, not just with your partner or to-be partner if you're single or whichever. Relationships come in any form and size, right? Personal, intimate, family, colleagues, whatever. So whatever's on people's minds, you're welcome to share any questions, thoughts, etc. First thing that sprang to me in that regard was I saw the age-old question again pop up online of who should pay on a first date.
Yes, and I said whoever asked. So it's like whoever the person is that asked for the date, so to speak, they should be the ones that pay. And we would like to know your guys' opinion on it as well.
It's a tricky one.
Thomas,
this is the opening question?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the starting question. Man. It's too deep.
Like he's sending me the ball already.
It's a bar, right? You just go in and just have it like that came up for people.
No, I'm happy to take it.
I don't know, guys.
Go,
it
mate.
could have been a lot worse.
I don't know. I don't want to reveal my soul by answering this question, you know? Jeez.
Justin,
right.
You got the right thing. You're drinking. That's exactly what that's what the bar is, right? You have a drink and like, right, here's what I think. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Go on, Thomas. You said you wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
on,
Okay, so who should pay at the first date? Usually, I very often did, in my dates, like there is definitely this thing. So I think like the interesting thing in this talk is that we are in a very international community thing. So according to where we come from, there is definitely different standards and different ways of doing things. I was born and raised in France, like for the majority of my life. And over there is definitely a clash that has been like kind of like following me through my growth, is that there is the old school ways of like men should pay. That's it, you know,
Yeah.
like this is what France has been doing for a long time. But there is also, as I grew up, this new age, you know, more feminism oriented view of like women also have their ways of being independent, of all of that. So like if we talk only culturally and in the society, it's a very this is why I guess the debate is interesting in many ways. There is always different viewpoints, and I think as I grew up, I was always thinking that men should pay. So early on in my dating life, I was always like, oh, I'm going to pay, don't worry. Even though like sometimes I was just, you know, paying for things I was not excited about. Like I was just doing this out of like mechanically, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was just like I had some I was pretty involved in the dating industry. Like I was also a coach in the dating world. And so as I just, you know, found out about all of these first as a student and then like immersing myself in this world, I just started to consider that there is really not only men and women, but there is like people, like independent people. And so I think that communication is the best tool to decide. And this is like my standpoint now, is that just talk about it and say like, okay, so what's your viewpoint on paying on dates, and how do you operate usually? What do you think about this? Like, and then maybe, you know, it's not about changing mind, but like just talking about a way to see how it can just be done together. And yeah, so I would say this is pretty much my viewpoint now.
No, good
Like
shout.
it should be talked, like it should be,
Discuss.
I don't know, like felt instinctual, and at the same time you can open the conversation about it. It's I don't know, it's more of a vibe rather than a strict way of saying like men should pay or the bill should be split. Now it's more about like, if it's a topic that comes, we can talk it out like very maturely, and if not, it's just instinct and see like what's going on, you know.
Where do you reckon that came from though? Why have we got to pay first? Why is that?
The men?
Yeah.
I have no idea, man. It's just I think there is definitely something that has been carried on by like a ways of doing, you know, like the gentleman kind of view of women should be taken care of and men should be providing. Like this like we can talk about this like for many ways. The first that comes to mind is that, you know, with the wars and everything, like men were just like taking the responsibility, and it has been carried on in a way or another. Like we can talk about many ways that this thing has just like been spread. But yeah, I would say like definitely it's something that, you know, carried on like very mechanically, and now it's about just like making a new way to see how things are working, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, welcome, Christopher. He just got into the bar.
Yeah, I literally just got off work, so I definitely wanted to make this call.
Perfect timing after work drink. That's exactly it.
Oh, if I'm going to the bar, chocolate milk. I don't.
Chocolate milk.
I love
Now-
chocolate milk. I'm a fiend for that. But I also love mead though, not because necessarily the alcohol, but the honey. I'm a sucker for honey.
Nice.
Good work.
We were just talking about the topic would be around relationships, and Vishad opened. Vishad opened with who pays on the first date, and Tama just shared his perspective on it. So we're kind of going around the room to see what everyone's opinion is on who should pay on the first date.
Okay, well, who asked who out first? I think the first person who asked, like if she asks, like if a girl comes up to me and wants to go out with me and asks me out on a date, then she's paying. But if I ask someone out because I've developed interest in someone, I'm paying. So I think it should be the person who asks first.
Yes, that's what I said as well. I said whoever asks is the one that should pay.
Yeah, at least for the first date, and then you guys can take it from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, do you tell him that before the date?
Huh?
Do you tell him like if you asked her out and said, right, I'm going to pay, do you make it clear before you go, or is it at the
Yeah,
point
because I don't want any assumptions or any confusion, and I don't like to set anyone up. I'm pretty blunt. I'm straight to the point. Like, even if this is taking it to an extreme, but let's say like a girl wanted to go all the way with me, I would tell her, look, if you get pregnant, I'll pay child support, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to marry you and be with you.
Brilliant.
I would just be straight up, because like the biggest thing to me is like my freedom. I'm like Jack Sparrow, where it's like I want to be as free as a bird, so I'm not going to let anything tie that down. As crazy as that sounds.
Fair play, man. Well, we've got loads of celebrities in there. Jack
I
Sparrow,
love the
Matt Damon.
escalation between like paying in the first date and paying child support and just like
Yep.
very smooth.
But you know, like I think it's regardless of what it is, I think it's always good to give a disclaimer, so that way there's no confusion and they know what they're signing up for. Because we're all adults here, so.
True. Love it.
Yes, thank you, Christopher. Jack, Justin, do either of you want to go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I believe in setting a precedent. So I think it depends on how you would like paying for dates to go after the first one. I think the first one sets a precedent. So even though I'd be inclined to pay the first time, I don't mind. And I like the old tradition of it. I think there's something old-fashioned about it. It's also thinking, well, would she expect for me to pay consecutive dates? And I wouldn't want
Yeah.
that. So I think by having it talked about and discussed, like was mentioned, makes sense. So that way, if I do pay in the future, it's not expectation. It's nice. Also, the same thing goes with like giving gifts or celebrating anniversaries. And I make this joke to some younger brothers or individuals who are starting to date. It's like, oh, it's the first celebration. It's like the first anniversary. Yeah, one flower is enough. Just one flower. Like he's cracking up. I'm like, dude, you're gonna buy a whole bouquet of flowers for the first anniversary. So how are you gonna stop that the next time? First anniversary, one flower. Second anniversary, two, maybe three. Feeling generous. Save the bouquet for something special. So the same thing is true for the dating and the paying. You set the precedent. You don't want to like reveal everything at the beginning because then they expect that. I'm
The whole
joking. I'm
strategy.
serious. Yeah, it's strategy. It's dating strategy, right? Yeah.
Well, there's my
Totally.
pen and paper. I should write that down, actually. That's a good one.
Right? Yeah. Because how are you going to top yourself, right? How are you going to top yourself if you go all out in the beginning?
Stop, Justin. You have like such great ideas. I don't think you could ever run out of ideas of what to do on an anniversary. You out of all people.
Yeah, it's all manipulation.
It's true.
It's all business, but like
It's a negotiation, right? It's a negotiation. It's yeah, I mean it's a relationship, but I think it's like yeah, anyways, I'll let someone else go.
Leave that in the air.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, you're up.
All right. Yeah, I think that it is all about the energy, and if it's some sort of mechanical rule that needs to be followed every time, then I don't think that actually does any good. If it just seems like you're trying to force something that isn't natural in the moment.
Nice.
Mm.
So everyone here basically goes with the vibe and then most figure that it should be discussed. You know, it's one of those things where, like, if you're going to be dating, then that should probably be something that you discuss.
I think it's also an interesting filter. Like I think a lot of guys care like way too much. Like if it has to depend on, automatically I would say a lot of the time the guy should just pay because he's a guy. And if the what was I gonna say? Oh my goodness, I lost it.
Yeah, come
Well,
on.
all I gotta say with that is, what about equal rights?
What do you
Sorry.
mean? What about equal rights?
Well, if you said the guy should just pay because he's a guy, well, then the girl needs to like make up for something because it has to be equal. There has to be some equilibrium there.
Yeah, I think that transactions are not like based off of love is not based off of transactions. So it's a different conversation with regards to like what equal means.
Right. It meaning she may not give you money, but you're gonna expect something. Because it's like, I would say that relationships are transactional. Not necessarily monetarily, but if you're giving somebody something, you're going to want something from them. And they're going to want something from you. So in a sense, it is kind of like give and take, at least the nature of most relationships.
Well, I mean, if a girl expects a guy to pay for a meal and then the guy is like, no, and then the girl is like totally like, oh, this does not fit like my matrix standard, like I can't be with this guy, then it's like, great, now you're not with a girl. It's probably a good thing. You probably weren't a good match. Like I think it's a good way to like filter out someone who's either going to be transactional or in a genuine relationship.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm spitballing. I don't know if any of this is making any sense.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, sometimes I like to throw things in there. You know? I have no agenda. I just like to throw
Same here.
different like points of view.
Yeah.
But it just sounds then like, is it like we're not trying to find the actual answer here. I don't think there's a right or wrong. It's just as Thomas said earlier, right? There's all different perspectives, different upbringings, and that kind of that. I just wonder, like, on the first date space, you're trying to work out both individually and together, like, oh, does this carry on? I think that might coerce the decision. So like, if you're like, this is going terrible, we're not a good fit or whatever, then you just pay for it as like, okay, I'll pay for this moment and that's it. If she offers, she might be thinking the same thing of like, this is just a one-off thing and that's it. You know, think about 50-50. Sometimes that's taken as a sign of like, it's a friends thing. Sometimes it's a bit of a minefield to work out what's their intention, what's ours. Funny one. Go on, Chris.
Oh, I was gonna say, I had a really good question for all of y'all. What's an idea of a first date for you? Going out to eat is just too boring.
That's a good one.
For me, it would be like if a girl wanted to hang out with me and wanted to get personal with me like that, I think the best first date to really test her mettle and see if she's like the right fit for me is to take her to a national park, and then we're just gonna hike for the entire weekend and go backpack camping and all that stuff. And if she's not cut out for that, then she's obviously not the right fit for me. But that's just an example, right? I love that stuff. So I know that, like, if she's gonna want to stay home and watch Netflix or do some boring stuff, like go to her parents or whatever, then she's definitely not the right one for me. But anyway, I'm interested to see what would be an ideal first date for y'all?
So your first date's a weekend.
Yeah, that's
Well-
brave.
going to a national park, you know, because it's
Park's good.
that way it's like you really get to know me. You know, it's yeah. But anyway, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about that.
I was very agreeing with your point when you said the national park, because the idea to go to the park, and it's funny because I agreed, but on the opposite, like for me, I like to make it as short as possible, in the sense that, okay, we're just gonna take a walk in the park for half an hour, and from that base point, just see if the vibe is there, you know, and if it is, then we can just agree to see each other on a more like intimate or a more extensive like dating point. But a whole weekend, like, be willing to take that risk of being with the person for a whole weekend, not knowing if you really like her or not. It sounds very risky to me.
Well, she's welcome to leave at any time. I'm not holding anyone hostage.
True.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, but to answer your question about that, it's just making sure that we have like a space to discover each other without it being too, like, immersive or intense, and then from then on, just like kind of like escalate as with the flow of what's going on, and making it more and more immersive. Yeah, it's the word.
What else do people reckon? Ideas?
Yeah, Justin.
I was going to say, waiting for the man.
You're on mute,
You're
Justin.
muted.
Oh, I was gonna say I was on mute when I said I don't want to say anything inappropriate. So
Oh, all good here, man. That's the point.
I mean, I think it depends on like your intention and how much you're interested in this individual. I remember I went on a date with one girl. I mean, decades ago, because geez, I'm married now with 2 kids, so dating it's a long time ago.
I was going to say, I hope your wife's out of
she-
earshot here.
Sorry, what?
I was going to say, I hope your wife is out of earshot. But she's not listening.
Oh
in.
yeah. She's out of earshot. No, we had a good dating experience, but there's this one girl who was interested in me, and it was like a friend of a friend, and I was just like, okay, So I chose to watch a movie because I didn't really want to talk to her.
Brilliant.
So I mean, I think the first date is like, what is your intention? Like, do you really want to get to know this person? Are you going on a date as a courtesy to someone else, or are you just being nice, or you just you just want to hang out and be friends? Maybe I think I really wanted to see that movie too, So I think it depends on a lot of factors. But if it is an ideal date, I think it's just an opportunity to connect, So when I went on a date with my wife now, we went for drinks. And it was nice. So at the time she spoke Thai, and my Thai wasn't that good, and her English was just emerging. So a few drinks allows us to be a little bit more comfortable, and it's very intentional, right? Like, you go somewhere, have a few drinks, lighten up, chit chat a little bit, and it's really just about, like, the intention is, do we want to go on another date? And that's pretty much it is. Like, a first date is like, let's have a space where we can enjoy ourselves, connect a bit, and see if it makes sense to go on another date. I mean, that's pretty much how I see a first date.
Yeah, man.
When you actually want to talk to the girl, that's what I would suggest.
That's fun.
I appreciate that, Justin. Hey Jack, what about you?
Hmm. I probably have a pretty vanilla answer that I'm wondering like how you guys have had first dates come about. What your experience has been
Okay.
with that. I didn't mean to change the topic though. There's no
Nah,
better
all
answer that.
Well, you actually, Jack, you had I don't know if that was a first date, the one that I think it was the photographer.
Oh
But
wow. Yes, good memory.
Exposed.
There's a
Yeah.
story here. What's going on?
Okay, Jack.
Wow. So so yeah, there's been a couple of different ways like in earlier this year I was with my dad and we were going to get pizza. So we went to the pizza place and this waiter comes around and she's taking my order and she's looking at me and we're making a lot of eye contact and then yeah, so
Smooth.
I'm leaving the restaurant and then she has someone hand me a little slip of paper and it has her number on it. So then I text her and that I had like a community call with my school at the same time as the date that we set up. So then I had that date. That was how that one happened. But then I kind of fool around and I don't take it seriously if I go on a dating app, but I did download Hinge and just memed out my entire profile. And there was this woman on the profile. We started messaging and then I was like, let's meet up in person. So we meet up and I'm just straight up awkward. Like I'm making eye contact. She asks me questions and they're pretty basic questions that I don't feel like answering. So I just don't answer them. And it's hilarious. It's really awkward, but then it starts to feel deeper and more intimate because like then we're getting past, it's just a way of getting past a lot of like the superficial conversation. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's leave now. So I walk her back to her car and I'm putting my hand like on the handle of the car door. And
I'm glad you
as-
said handle of the car door.
as I'm putting my hand towards the door, some random guy taps me on the back of the shoulder and he's like, hey, like, are you guys a couple? And I'm like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm a photographer. Like I take professional pictures of couples. And I'm like, bro, this is our first date. And he's like, oh, even better. Like, and then she looks at me and we're like, all right, whatever. So then, yeah, he takes us along and has us pose and stuff and starts taking our pictures and like telling us how to pose. And it was extremely uncomfortable and awkward because we were talking about how we try to avoid intimacy and stuff on a first date. And he's saying things like, okay, now Jack, like you go in to kiss her and then I can take I'm like,
Brilliant.
oh my
Fucking
goodness.
hell.
And it was just so viscerally tense and weird. But it was really, really funny and good.
What a story.
Was that your first date with her, Jack?
Yeah, that was our first date.
Hope it wasn't your last.
So was that like one of these guys on YouTube that just go and take random picture of people and then they put short about it, about like the results and stuff like that? Or just like a random dude?
No, I think that was his business. Just,
Okay.
yeah, photography.
Fucking hell, how creepy. Like you're following a couple to a car. Like, oh, can I take
Yeah.
photos of you? Like, what the fuck?
Well, and then we started talking because he was really natural and charismatic. Like he did it so smoothly. I was like, wow, dude, I don't know how we got into this position of doing what we're doing right now, but you're doing it really well. Like even the posing and photo setup, he made it feel organic.
I mean, I hope he gave you the photos after.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her again?
No.
Oh man.
No, it was just really an awkward experience. I can't even describe how weird that was.
Good story though.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening to that. I haven't shared that too much.
My bad, Jack.
All good hit. All good, mate. All good.
Good.
Lexi, what about you? Like first dates, ideas? What do you reckon?
So like my issue has been I don't actually know that I'm on a date. And it's happened more than once, and my friends kind of tease me about it. I've actually literally like gone out and been like, oh yeah, our you know that friend you introduced me to when we were hanging out at this event? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, oh, they want to go grab a bite to eat and everything. And then I'll even say like, do you guys want to join? And then it's just like, no, it's cool. So then I'm just like, all right, cool. So, cause I don't know it's a date. So then I just go, they're like, yeah, they want to eat at this restaurant. And it's like a restaurant I haven't been to before. And then we're there. And then they're like, oh yeah, like this is the area that I live in. I was like, oh, I think one of my friends lives in this area too. Like, you know, and he's like, oh yeah, like I just need to pick something up at home. So we stopped by at his place. And then as we're like sitting there, I'm like talking, and then he'll come close to me, and then I get up and I go to another side. And then he'll try to go over there, and then I get up again and I go somewhere else, and I'm just kind of like, what's going on? Like, why is this getting awkward now? And then as we're like talking, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna head back now. And then it kind of goes into, I have a question. And then it's like, what? I was like, is this a date? And then it's revealed to me that it is. And then I'll go and see our mutual friends. And it was literally like, that's where I was dropped off. I walked in the door and I was like, I was just on a date and I didn't know that I was. And then they just kind of like looked at me and they're like, yeah, it sounds like you. Because
Oh yeah, thanks.
yeah, it's like, because normally when I hang out with my friends, like what we'll do is just go grab a bite to eat or grab coffee or grab a drink. Like we do something where we can like casually hang out and talk. So I guess if it's not like fully expressed, like there was one time, one of the boyfriends that I was dating, he was courting me for about a month and I didn't realize that he was courting me.
Courting
And
me,
then
brilliant.
And then we were at this one cafe and we were hanging out outside. And then I was telling, I forgot how the topic came up, but it was something along the lines of, yeah, there's no, people don't normally like me. And then he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't actually get there. Like people are not actually attracted to me. Like I don't actually get people that actually like me. And then he's just kind of like looking at me like, what? And I was like, yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I guess like people just aren't, I'm no one's real like type, you know, because normally like if someone thinks or says that they like me, it's not really me because they don't know me. Like I've had a lot of that happen where it's just like they're like literally like an acquaintance or less, and then they're
Right.
just like, you know, like, or if I hang out with somebody just like even for like one day, they're like saying that they love me. So it's just like I can't, it's hard for me to like understand and like accept that, especially because in like such a short amount of time. And like as most of you guys know, I'm more of like a relational person. So there has to be time. Like I take time, things have to develop, like there has to be space and all of that. And yeah, so if somebody just kind of tries to like speed their way to like, oh, this is my confession of how I feel about you, I'm just like, I don't buy it. So then that's like what brought up the topic of like, yeah, no one really likes me because everyone's always busy like falling for an image of me, like an image they're projecting of me. Like they see me and then they're like, this dream girl of mine, I'm gonna put it on her. And that's like, you know, go ahead.
I'm curious, what life path are you?
I don't know.
What's your, if you don't, well, you don't have to say in the chat if you don't want to, but it's basically your birthday. So like if you take, I was born August 3rd, 1992. You take 8, 3, 1, 9. So 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 2 is 21. Plus 3 is 24. 24 plus 8 is 32. And then 3 plus 2 is 5. So I would be a life path 5. So
Oh,
you
that's
basically,
what I am.
oh, you're a life path 5?
Yeah. Freedom seeker?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. I had a feeling because like I don't know if this has to do with relationships or not, but freedom seekers, and by the way, I keep running into life path 5s. John, my friend from Sweden, he's also a life path 5. And my friend in India, he's also a life path 5. And then a girl I met at Costco this year, just by random chance, was born in the same Chinese year as me, Year of the Monkey. She's also a big, like, huge Pokemon nerd like I am, and she's a Life Path 5. I'm like, God's fucking with me right now because I've been meeting Life Path 5s for the past 8 months. This can't be a coincidence, but I wonder if, anyway, going back to the original thing, I wonder if being a freedom seeker has something to do with, like, relationships and stuff.
How would it relate to it, do you think?
How you because life path 5s carry a lot of energy. They're like an energetic magnet to a lot of people. Meaning like when people really get to know us, they really like love our energy. They may not necessarily love us, it's our energy, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's
At least
actually a really good way to say it.
That's what I'm starting to see. So, yeah, falling in love with the projection because their mind will start to form a model of how they see you.
Yeah.
But we really can't. We have, like, we're so multidimensional, like our soul, from a soul's perspective, that we carry, because we're multidimensional, we carry so many different identities with us. So it's like, one of our identities may be the one that they're in love with, but you may have like a whole different side of you that they won't see or don't see or can't see.
Yeah. That's also like very in line of like my alias, or one of my aliases. It's like my branding forever has been like feline fatale, and it's like the whole femme fatale vibe of like someone with 9 lives, so it's a feline. And that's literally what it feels like for me, is like I've done so many things throughout my life that it feels like I've lived all these like different lives, like multiple lives. And I feel like now, at least at this time in my life or in this part of the journey, it's like a time to like merge them all and like bring them all together. You know, what's funny is everyone that's here right now like resonates with like some sort of like spiritual or like archetype, or like everyone has something like they resonate with when it comes to like these kinds of conversations. So it's just like stuff having to do with the soul, spirituality. Justin like super specializes in archetypes, you know, and then Vishad specializes with like shadow work, you know, and then Tama, he's done different things, and he used to be, like he said, involved in the relationship space as like a coach, and now he's like doing things that are more like heart-centered sales and more about like another thing of like being the better version of yourself, you know. And then Jack just always like helps everybody. So it's just like everyone here has like their own thing of of what they believe, and it's like their own perspective. But from my observation, it's like they all talk about the same thing. They just talk about it in their own like different ways. Like Tama would probably break it down like on a soul level, whereas Justin would break it down on like an archetype level, you know, and he can go far with it. I don't know if you do life path or Chinese astrology, Justin.
It's all related. It's
Yeah.
all like, yeah. Life path is cool too. I'm in 11, by the way.
That's cool.
I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm fascinated by people who know the different life path numbers, because I only know a little bit about what it means to be an 11. But one thing that fascinates me between human design and the gene keys and Enneagram and MBTI and everything else, like they all indicate the same aspects of an individual with different systems and different language. So it's just fascinating, because how can it all be true? But it is. Right, because then your life path number is congruent with your Chinese astrology, because it's your birthday, which is congruent with human design, which is congruent with the gene keys, and is congruent with a bunch of other things. So it never ceases to amaze me how like people are just patterns, you know, it's just unique patterns. I mean, we're all very unique, but even our uniqueness has patterns. And I think if people walked around and, you know, not walked around, but if when you started to date someone, if you knew their type and they knew your type, and you knew some information about that type from any system, you know, life path number or MBTI, introversion, extroversion, like that little bit of insight could avoid a lot of awkwardness and discomfort and miscommunication.
I also got an interesting story to share. It's not really dating, I don't think, but it definitely is relationships.
Go on, mate.
And I'll keep it short though. So I transferred grocery stores because I ended a friendship and I kept working with the friend. I'm hanging upside down on the monkey bars right now, but so yeah, and I transferred to a different grocery store, and then I met someone, and we were paired together a lot, and they were a guy at the time. And then I didn't know this, but they were going through a transition. They were going from guy to girl. And I never really got to know one on a personal level until this one happened. And as the months went by, we just sort of like, she's really up there, like in awareness. She just matched my frequency. Because I didn't see it at the time, but what was happening was I was outgrowing my current group of friends, like all of them pretty much. And when I left to a different store, I didn't have any friends. So she became my only friend. Like I had friends still, but they weren't currently active in my life. They had all moved to different cities, and I was just like, yeah, by myself. So then I got to know her, and then I grew attracted to her, not sexually though. It was emotionally, and I loved her like a sister, like a sibling. And then she got cancer. And then all last year, I based our relationship, like we grew closer together. And she dropped me hints here and there. Like she said that I was the type of guy that she would, that she wanted to be with. And I ended up taking care of her pretty much all of last year. I was back and forth between my place, her place. And I mean, she's a badass. Like she would go to work, cough up blood in the work bathroom, and then go straight back to work. So I mean, I was in the army for 7 years, and what she like went through, yeah, I would have pussied out a long time ago. So she's got balls of steel, I will say that. And then earlier this year, she had her like transition surgery, so she fully went through with it. But then she confessed like her love to me at the end of last year, and we took a break from our friendship for a few months because I felt like I needed to like create space, and I'm glad I did because then it's funny when you do stuff like that because then what happened was it created space between us, yes, and it also brought more people into my life that I wouldn't have met had I been at her place all the time. So it showed me like um it showed me a lot about relationships. I can't really eventually I'm gonna like make a YouTube series talking about everything where I break it down. I mean it's a lot of stuff. Um yeah, I could write a book over it honestly. The but yeah, and then I told her a couple weeks ago, I was like, you remember back then when you offered to um help me make YouTube videos? Well, I'd like your help on that. And that was an invitation for her to come back into my life. And I told her, and then she surprised me actually last night at work. She bumped into me. And that was the first time I've seen her since March. I didn't ask her about like her cancer, but uh yeah, I actually want her to be a part of my life because I do love her, but it's like, because I'll go into this another time because I don't want to take up too much time in this call, but I had a huge family event happen that was crazy and it sort of like split the family apart. And when that happened, my actual siblings, like I only have one sister and I have three brothers, but we stopped talking to each other. Like my actual sister, hadn't talked to in like 5 years. So Summer replaced that. And then my friend Shriman in India, he became my little brother. So he basically like became my brother. And now it's like, and John became my brother. And it's like people, like the universe is sort of providing me a family again, but it's not the family I grew up with. It's like my actual soul family. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that happens because I know that like Summer and I have a karmic connection, meaning we're meant to be in each other's lives because like it's obvious like she wants to be a part of my life, but I also want to be a part of her life. But we're gonna have to navigate that without like because she told me last night that like she's a part of her is afraid that she doesn't want to go down the emotional roller coaster because she said like the feelings she had for me were very strong. And but that may be something she's gonna have to go through though. I don't know. But I did tell her that I left, kind of abruptly and I shouldn't do that. And honestly, I shouldn't. I thought about it. I should be a part of her life because, like, I became sort of like a protector. Like, I was somebody she felt safe with to open up to because she's not the type of person to open up to people. I'm completely opposite. I'm blunt, straight to the point. I'll open up to anybody. I like doing that because people who don't like it or are extremely uncomfortable by it, they go away really fast. But that's okay. I don't need to mingle with those people because it would be a waste of time for both of us. So I'm basically sending them on their way to who they're supposed to go to. But then me doing that, it actually attracts the right people, ironically, too.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
more like synchronistically than ironically.
Yeah. Well, I'm shooting a intense frequency, and either they reject it or accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Great story. Anyone
Hey.
else feel these like karmic connections with anyone?
Yeah, well,
I
it's
think
interesting to hear Chris talk about frequency, because one thing that I say is that frequency is just your identity. Identity is frequency. When you change your identity, or when you have a certain identity, which is your self-perception, your self-concept, that is what you put out in regard to your thoughts and your emotions. Because I think of it as very practical. Your energy, your energetics, or your thoughts and your emotions, which then contribute to your actions and your habits. So when we talk about elevating frequency, I interpret it as elevating our self-concept, elevating our identity. So I believe it makes sense that we attract or find individuals who are in similar harmony to who we are or into who we're becoming, because thoughts and emotions give off energy, and our habits and our actions are indicators of what's taking place internally. So it makes sense. It makes sense when you encounter people seemingly unexpectedly, but you have a lot to talk about, because there's a intangible aspect to what you're putting out in the universe. That's what I believe. So yeah, I believe when you find people, it's seemingly coincidental, but not coincidental. You may call it, synchronicity.
Tama, what do you think?
Justin just broadened the question, because I had the thing with Christopher about the your question, Vishat, of karmic relationships. I think they exist definitely. I just from the perspective that I have also in developing my own life, I'm really working on making just inner work to always feel more and more aligned with everything that I experience and do. And it definitely opens up the field of people you can meet, and also it closes the field of people you were hanging out with before that you cannot really hang out with anymore. Kind of like Christopher, what you mentioned with the circle of friends that you just don't vibrate with as much. And so in your story, it feels like, as Justin said, since you are vibrationally augmenting your what you put out in the world, then it's matching, and therefore there was space for these friends to go out and for this new relationship to be created. And so yeah, to me, karmic relationships, they exist. I try not to put too much attention to that personally, because then it's kind of like putting in my I was very much involved in that before, but I felt that it was putting some mind in myself to what was going on, rather than just letting things unfold. And also it created expectations. I was expecting something to happen because I was thinking that there was a karmic connection. When I personally stopped putting attention to that, then it just created this thing of oh, okay, so now if we're vibing, we're vibing. If we're not. And it can be about vibing for as long as it's working. And if it just stops suddenly, then I'm not disappointed anymore, or because I'm not expecting anything anymore, And so this is the way I see karmic relationships now, because I've been involved in many spiritual communities. With I hang out with a lot of spiritual people, and everyone has their own views of these things. And yeah, about this specific topic, I try personally not to take too much mind into that. To this person is my soulmate, or my what's the flame thing?
Twin flame.
Flame soul. Yeah,
Twin flame.
twin
Yeah.
flame, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so it's kind of my thing.
What about you, Jack? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christopher.
Oh no, Well, the only one thing I was gonna say is, yeah, I agree. It becomes too much of a mind thing if you like think about it too much.
Yeah.
I guess the key is simplicity, letting it unfold and flowing with it, and not getting too caught. But another thing I wanted to add on to that is she and I have the exact same birthday, August 3rd. Not the exact same year, but yeah, that's crazy.
Jack, do you have an opinion on any of this?
I I've I like what you guys have been saying. I liked what Justin said about synchronicity is just a way, the way it goes. And interesting hearing about Christopher's experience. And I also, yeah, register what you said, Thomas. Thank you for asking the question, Vishad. I was wondering if yeah, Lexi, did you share on that too? Like what you or Vishad, I would like to hear your guys' perspectives on it.
Which one? On the karmic connections?
Yeah.
Yes, I do believe in karmic connections. It's, you know, like essentially is like the karma is what you put out is like what you get back. So, you know, I very much resonate with before we come into this world, like we like choose our families, like choose our parents, and we sign like a soul contract of like the things we're going to learn while we're on the school of earth. And we go down to earth and we forget everything about who we are so that we can like rediscover ourselves under the conditions of what earth brings, which is like a lot of duality. And as I said, like in previous conversations, it's humanity hasn't changed. Humanity has been doing the same thing for centuries. All the sins that are committed are the same sins. All the love that gets put out there is like the same love. Like, you know, for thousands of years, I'm sure people felt like they were absolutely head over heels in love, not understanding certain aspects of it, or even like programming or conditions of it. And then also just like having to do with the times and the evolution of what has developed now for humanity, especially because now we're in an age of technology like we haven't been in before. So I believe that karmic connections are based on whatever it is that you guys have to teach each other. Like, I guess like essentially it would be kind of like you sign something in a contract saying like, okay, I'm going to encounter Jack, and Jack and I are going to learn these things from each other. But like, it only works if we're friends. But like, let's say we didn't get along and we weren't friends. It's like, because we're humans, we also have like free will. So we always have the choice of whether we want to pursue something or not. So let's say like we didn't vibe and then we ended up not accomplishing that part of the contract. Then it's like, okay, then it just doesn't get accomplished, and you find that out in the life review or whatever you want to call it, like later. But you know, ideally, like when we come in, it's very challenging to be human, and then it's even more challenging because it's challenging enough to just be yourself and like understand that and go deep on that, but then to do it with another person, whatever type of relationship it is, whether it's family, friends, or like an intimate relationship, that is like a whole another thing, I feel like. And I do feel like that there's people that come into our lives, especially family, that are meant to teach us certain things, and we're meant to teach them certain things. So that's what I understand about like karmic connections. And I do feel like it's all a choice, even if it is a karmic connection.
That bingo, like exactly. You get it. At least you get it like I get it. And I guess to add on to that is the karmic relationships are like, So with Summer, I know it's karmic because I know if I don't sign up for it, basically, that my soul's like, hey, you're gonna have to do this again. Maybe not this lifetime, but
Yeah.
next lifetime you're gonna have to do it. So why not just sign up for it, do it, go through with it, get it over with? That's
Yeah.
exactly what this is. I can't prove that to anyone, but I have a strong intuitive feeling. Like, look, my soul's telling me, hey, just do this, okay? You know, and it's like, and then my ego is like, ah, god damn it. I really don't want to do this, but I have to. Well, I don't have to, but it's highly encouraged that I do.
Yes.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that.
Yes. What about you, Rashad? You asked the question. Now what's your answer?
The more I observe and experience relationships in any aspect, the message that seems to come through a lot more is like the best, whatever label you want to put on it, karmic relationship, self relationship, whatever, is the one with yourself. And I say that from the tones we've been picking up on the in the bar, that I'm reminded of I know it's spinning it a bit binary, but I'm reminded of an equation my coach taught me was your contentment / peace equals your reality minus expectations. It does not mean have no expectations and don't give a fuck or shit about anything. It's more to do with both parts of the equation are important. So let's say the expectations part. We mentioned in the bar earlier, you know, date ideas, who should pay, keeping up that kind of validation perspective of like, you know, please stay, please connect, that kind of thing. That's the expectation that like, oh, if I pay, then I look good. I look like the gentleman. So they're going to hang around. That's the expectation that we might not consciously play out, but we subconsciously play out. So the expectation score is higher. Look at the other part of the equation. If the reality is struggling to keep up with the expectation, then you're always going to be in a negative side of an equation. So if you put it in numbers, your reality might be, okay, you're single because you're on a first date. Okay. And I want that connection, that instant spark, karmic thing, whatever, on the first go. So the expectation is, if your reality is 5 and your expectations are 100, then your contentment and peace is negative 95. You're always struggling to meet those expectations. But if you take your reality going, actually, I'm single, I might be looking for a partner via dating, okay, but your expectations are that at the end of the day, the other person is another random human being like you are. And if we hold expectations in external places and in other people, then it's always going to be higher. So your contentment and peace is so affected by your external perspective in expectations that you'll never keep up with yourself. But if you lowered your expectations, not your standards, not to go, right, I'll take any old thing going. It's to go, okay, it comes back to me, I think, of like, and this is practice. It's not just like, okay, we're done. It's being okay with whatever outcome the situation unfolds in. And that's not easy because you're not sometimes privy or you haven't gone through these situations to know. You hear of them, but when you're actually going through it, you're like, fucking hell, there's a lot to unpack here. So to lower the expectations isn't just like, right, easy. It has to be a lived experience to just bring it down bit by bit. So what that comes back to is like the only responsibility you have is on yourself. It'd be nice if the other person were to feel in sync or have that kind of intense connection or whatever. But ultimately, for me, it comes back to that connection. In fact, I had the Starkist lesson recently of like, You can only be, the only person you're responsible for is you. No matter, all you can ask yourself is, did I give what I could in the situation, given what I knew at the time? Did I do what I could, or be who I wanted to be? And that's all you can ask yourself. You will fuck up, you will make mistakes. That's okay. And when it comes to those long-standing connections and stuff like that, I don't think it just has to be people. It can be through something else, a team, a band, an idea, because ultimately the connection is about resonance, I feel. What do you resonate with? It could be a values thing. It could be, as Justin said, an identity thing. It all interlinks back to identity, I feel. Who are you? Do you have to change the person you are to fit an ideology of someone else or something else? Is that just one of your characters instead of the actual you? So I believe in the concept of a karmic connection, a bond, a lifespan, multiple lifespanning connection thing. It's possible, but ultimately I think it will come back to yourself. It's probably the best relationship you'll have, I reckon. Bit heavy for a Monday morning bar session, but there we go.
Hey, for some of us, it's nighttime.
It's true. It's always they say it's always 5 p.m. somewhere. So
7 for me, 6 p.m. for Justin. Somehow, what time is it in your head?
It's 12
p.m.
12 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, I like that. And I like how it does come back to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all here to do, is evolve ourselves, become better versions of ourselves, find out more about ourselves, figure ourselves out more, and I feel like wherever we are in our journeys and in our world, that's what gets reflected back to us. And at times the reflection, or actually most of the time, the reflection is other people, including the relationships that we're in. And, it's a big reason why if you go through some kind of like identity shift, then you're going to experience a different set of people. And as someone that has experienced like different kinds of people because of like all my lives, so to speak, I can say that it definitely adjusts like that part of my personality. And it has had an effect on like shaping who I am. So now it's another reason why I'm a lot more conscious about like how I spend my time and who I spend my time with. Because, before I found out, before I knew anything that I know now, I didn't know anything, and before I find out all the stuff later, I don't know anything now. So it's the part where we all make mistakes. It's like, that's just part of learning. That's a part of growth, and it's a part of life. And I honestly feel like if you make mistakes, it's actually a good thing, because it means you're growing and you're learning. It's like, how else are you going to get any kind of feedback or data to go off of so that you can improve yourself? And I feel like that's such a key factor that most people don't understand, because everybody's gets so caught up in their head. I'm definitely a person that can overthink at times. It's better when you get someone else to reflect back what's actually going on, just so you can have like another check-in with yourself, essentially, via someone else.
Yeah, and these, like, somebody who's resonating with you, like, especially you're speaking, like, you find people that, like, you say stuff and then they get what you're saying. Those relationships are priceless, especially if there's no romantic goo goo gaga emotional, because emotions, it's a great roller coaster. It's a great ride. But would you want to ride a roller coaster 24/7? Eventually your consciousness is going to want to get off that train, because emotions make things delusional. They warp reality. They can. I'm not saying they always do, but they can. And you'll do things for your special somebody that you won't do for like a stranger on the street who may need your help.